Singapore leader of the opposition Pritam Singh has been fined a maximum $7,000 for each of 2 charges of lying to Parliament. A court found him guilty of lying to a parliamentary committee while being questioned about a false anecdote told by former Workers' Party MP Raeesah. But the case is not fully resolved more than 3 years after the incident. Singh says he will appeal against both the verdict and sentence. The WP chief also says he intends to contest the coming general election, which must be held by November. Singapore's Elections Department has confirmed that Singh's sentence does not meet the disqualification threshold for an MP. Pritam Singh is the first person since Singapore's independence to be convicted under the Parliament Privileges, Immunities and Powers Act, which criminalises lying to Parliament or its committees. He is also the first sitting opposition MP to face a criminal conviction in nearly 40 years. In a 2-hour verdict, the judge stressed the importance of truthfulness under oath, stating the court must send a clear message. CNA's Jeraldine Yap was in the courtroom and has the details.
Morning.
Flanked by his lawyers, Workers' Party Chief Pritam Singh arrived at the state courts just after 9 a.m, looking relaxed as he awaited the outcome in a criminal trial surrounding his testimony in front of the Committee of Privileges, convened to look into former WP MP Raeesah's false anecdote in Parliament. In a show of support, fellow party colleagues Jeraldine Yap, Dennis Tan and James Lim, familiar faces in the packed courtroom. In a lengthy oral judgment dismantling Singh's defence that lasted over 2 hours, Judge Luke Tan gave his grounds for why he found Singh guilty on both charges of lying to the COP. Regarding the first charge, the judge said that the evidence presented in court indicated that at the conclusion of the meeting on 8th August 2021, when Ms. Khan confessed to party leaders that she had lied, Singh did not want her to correct the falsehood in Parliament. As a result, any claim he made to the COP that contradicted this was a lie he willfully told. Relating to the second charge, the judge said that on 3rd October 2021, Singh never wanted Ms. Khan to tell the truth if the issue of a lie came up in Parliament the next day, and nothing was done to prepare for her to come clean. The judge also addressed Singh's claim that he told Ms. Khan to speak to her parents before they discussed the issue of her lie. He said he found it to be uncorroborated and unbelievable.
Despite attempts by the defence to impeach Ms. Khan's credibility as a witness due to discrepancies between her testimony and evidence in court, the judge said that the discrepancies did not call into question her general credit and that he found her to be a reliable witness during the trial. The judge also said that there was no evidence that Ms. Khan tried to downplay her involvement in the case or that she had any grudges against Singh.
The judge also gave full weight to the evidence of other witnesses, including former WP stalwart Lau Tia Kiang, whom he said played a key role in the eventual decision for Ms. Khan to confess to the lie in Parliament. Both sides then made their sentencing submissions before court adjourned for a break to allow the judge to deliberate on the sentence. The decision, the maximum $7,000 fine for each offence, which the prosecution had sought. The defence had argued for a $4,000 fine for each charge. In deciding the sentence, Judge Tan cited several considerations, including Singh's motive for lying, the fact that he knew his false answers to the COP could cause harm, and the need to send a signal about the importance of telling the truth while under oath. Speaking to the media shortly after the hearing ended, Singh said he would appeal both the conviction and sentence. He was asked how the outcome of the case would impact his political career.
Consistent with the advice I have and that I've been given, I will be running for the general election.
Singh was also asked if he might be forced to consider stepping down from politics.
I think the need of the hour is for me to step up, not step down. Elections are imminent, and it's not going to be an easy election, as I have repeatedly shared in the course of my public speeches to fellow Workers' Party members. So we'll have to fight hard, and that's what we will do.
Singh now awaits the result of his appeal.
Workers' Party Chief Pritam Singh will not lose his seat in Parliament despite being fined a total of $14,000 for lying to a parliamentary committee. The Elections Department ELD said in a statement after Monday's hearing that under the Constitution, disqualification from being an MP is based on the sentence for a single offence. Now that paves the way for Mr. Singh to keep his seat and run in the coming general election, which must be held by November. As a sitting MP, Singh faced losing his seat if he had been fined at least $10,000 or handed a jail sentence of at least 1 year for a single offence. He was found guilty of lying to Parliament at the state courts today and was given the maximum fine of $7,000 for each of his 2 charges. The ELD says that the respective sentences for separate offences cannot be added together for disqualification. Now, the Workers' Party says that it is, quote, unwise to comment on the merits of the matter, unquote, as Singh is appealing against the court's decision. Party Chair Sylvia Lim says the law must take its course. Ms. Lim adds that the party is no stranger to challenges and will rise to the occasion, as it has done many times in the past. She pledged that the party will continue to work to earn the support of all Singaporeans. The Attorney General's Chambers has warned the public from making baseless claims against the judiciary system. This comes after the sentencing of Workers' Party Chief Pritam Singh for lying to a parliamentary committee. The AGC said that publishing unfounded allegations and making suggestions of partiality may constitute contempt of court. Citing the sentencing of former Transport Minister S. Iswaran last year, it said the prosecution takes its mission to uphold the law seriously, regardless of one's status or position. And for more on what this verdict means for Singapore politics and for the Workers' Party, we have Associate Professor Eugene Tan from the Singapore Management University. Professor Tan, it's good to see you.
Likewise, thank you.
So, no jail term, but a fine of $14,000 in total for both charges of lying. Why the maximum fine of $7,000 per charge?
Well, Shada, I think here the judge was signalling that the actions of Pritam Singh cannot be condoned, right? So this is lying on oath. Here we're talking about lying to a parliamentary committee. And the fact that the lies, according to the judge as he found them, that the lies were willfully told. So I think here the judge is indicating that there needs to be a deterrent, although he didn't use those words. But I think it is a signal that, lying on oath or affirmation is something not to be taken lightly. And of course, I think the judge would have taken into account his position, as the leader of the opposition, the fact that he was the leader of the Workers' Party as well, to his then MP, Raeesah Khan. So I think when you look at the maximum fine of $7,000, it indicates, the court's concern, right? And of course, strongest objection to such conduct, by a senior member of parliament.
And following the verdict, the Elections Department has clarified that Mr. Singh can contest the next general election, and Mr. Singh himself has also said that he will do so. But what changes with this verdict? Will Pritam Singh lose or win some voters?
Well, I think, this verdict, as well as the sentence, to my mind, is not going to be an election game changer. I think this primarily stems from the fact that, the Workers' Party is Singapore's leading opposition party for at least 2 decades. So it occupies, that unique position in Singapore's political landscape, which has been dominated by the ruling People's Action Party. And so I would say that, voters are certainly going to look at this particular case, but also to look at what the other qualities, that the Workers' Party brings to the table. But it is certainly a setback for the Workers' Party as well as Mr. Pritam Singh, right? Because here is a conviction. He will appeal against it, but it is a conviction. And this is a finding of lying on oath or affirmation by a court of law. Now, had this been a finding by, let's say, the Committee of Privileges, as was the case where Ms. Raeesah Khan was concerned, then I think, the public reception, may be somewhat different. But here, because it is a court of law, there was due process, there was fair hearing, there was legal counsel that Mr. Pritam Singh availed himself to, that I think, it will be a setback. But as I said, I don't think, it's going to be a game changer.
What does that setback for the party and Mr. Singh look like? And what happens to his position as leader of the opposition?
Well, the leader of opposition is a fairly new office in Singapore's parliament, right? Created only after the general election in 2020. So it remains to be seen, what sort of actions, Parliament would take. I think certainly, he's not off the hook because his conduct, would certainly merit, Parliament to see, to determine whether any parliamentary privileges had been breached or abused. So I would say that, he could be referred to another committee of privileges, this time with him being the focal point. But I think it's more likely, given that Parliament's term has about 6 months left to go, that more likely is for Parliament to censure him, right? And I think, the idea is not to put too much publicity on this matter, but also to signal, that such conduct is unbecoming, of members of Parliament. So I think, he will still have a couple of battles to fight, the appeal as well as having to face Parliament scrutiny as well as perhaps a censure or maybe some other penalty. But I think, as we saw from the clip earlier, he is prepared to step up to the fight. But I think how he goes about it, will matter to both him and the Workers' Party.
That appeal that you mentioned, what are the possible ramifications of that? Do you think there is a risk of a stiffer sentence that's being meted out?
Actually, he certainly opens that possibility. He meaning, Mr. Pritam Singh, by filing an appeal against conviction and sentence. So we know that the sentence that the district judge meted out is the maximum at $7,000 per charge. But the appeal court, may take the view that a custodial sentence is warranted. But it is also possible, right, that the appeal court may find that Mr. Singh is not guilty of one or both charges, right? Or that, even if the court finds that he is guilty, the court may take the view that the fine may be somewhat excessive. So there are different possibilities, right? But certainly the short answer to the question, whether he could face enhanced penalties, that is certainly within the realm of possibility.
Earlier, Professor Tan, you talked about this verdict not being an election game changer. But do you think the Workers' Party or Mr. Singh will lose some votes in alternate GRC because of this trial?
Well, I think certainly, right? So I mentioned about how it is a setback, right? For voters who might be particular, about the MPs manifesting integrity, honesty. This would be something that would count against Mr. Pritam Singh. And because he is the leader of the Workers' Party, that could also have impact on the Workers' Party, right? So the question is whether, Mr. Singh's actions, reflect that of the Workers' Party. So there could be ramifications beyond Aljunied. It's certainly a setback that he meaning Mr. Singh, would rather not have. It's something that he will have to deal on the campaign trail. But I don't think, it is going to be, a big issue, right? But certainly it takes away bragging rights, that his party and Mr. Singh, that they have what it takes, in terms of integrity, honesty, to lead Singapore. It does take away, that particular shine.
Aside to the Workers' Party, how do you see this case impacting the other opposition parties in the next general election?
Well, in my view, I don't think it affects the other opposition parties, right? So in terms of whether they might benefit from it, I suspect not, right? Again, because of the unique position of the Workers' Party. They have a reservoir of goodwill built up over the last 20 to 30 years. So this does draw down, on that reservoir a bit. But I don't see, the opposition parties taking the view that the Workers' Party is now severely weakened. I think they are still among the opposition parties, a force to be reckoned with. And I would suspect, that very few opposition parties would want to go into a contest where they have to deal with both the Workers' Party and the People's Action Party. So I think, for the other opposition parties, they will have to find other ways of making a stake, for them to be elected into Parliament.
All right, Professor Tan, appreciate your insights. Thank you so much for speaking with us tonight. That was Associate Professor Eugene Tan from the School of Law at SMU.